Hey, what's up, fam? It is KRISTIN, aka AriYah, and today we're going to be releasing imposter syndrome. Hasatan's mission is to steal, kill, and destroy, and one of the ways that he does this is by having you doubt your Yah-given talents and abilities and have you questioning yourself and saying things like, am I even good enough? Or who am I to do X, Y, and Z? Or I don't have enough education. I don't have enough experience. I'm not the best person for the job. Society, culture, our oppressors have kind of created this notion that we're less than, we're nothing, we don't have anything to bring to the table. And that has kind of infiltrated and seeped in some of the ways that we see ourselves or view ourselves. And it's so important that we dispel the lies of the enemy so that we can flourish in who we were created to be. So what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud, essentially, right? And it disproportionately affects high achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments and to accept their greatness, essentially. And many question whether they're even deserving of the gifts and talents that they have, or deserving of the success and deserving of the accolades that they may receive as a result of what they have accomplished. I used to do this with each and every one of my clients who struggle with imposter syndrome. I would always ask them to look up the definition of imposter in the dictionary, and this is how it reads when you look it up. An imposter is defined as a person who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive others, especially for fraudulent gain, right? So that's where feeling like a fraud comes into play. But when you think about yourself and what causes you to have imposter syndrome in the first place, when you read the definition of an imposter, 99.9% of the time, you're not fitting this description, right? You're not pretending to be someone else in order to deceive others, especially for fraudulent gain, right? So there is no reason that we should be putting that label of imposter on ourselves when it comes to showcasing our talents and our abilities, putting ourselves out there, going on the mission that Yahuah has called us to do, the assignment that he has called us to walk out on this here earth. I wanted to talk about Mosheh and how he struggled with imposter syndrome a little bit, right? A lot of it. Let's just say a lot of it, because there are so many examples throughout the book of Exodus where Moshe questioned if he was equipped for the job that Yahuah had called him to. So in Exodus 3:10-11, it reads, "And now come, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Mitzrayim." And Mosheh said to Elohim, Who am I? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the children out of Israel out of Mitzrayim? We see Mosheh questioning himself, who am I? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? I'm a nobody. Why are you calling me to do this job? I'm sure that there are people out there who are better equipped for the task at hand. Why are you asking me, Mosheh, to go forth to a Pharaoh? But Yahuah had to keep checking him and keep reminding him, right, that he was going forth with Mosheh. He would give him what to say. He would make sure that every single step is laid out along the journey so that he don't have to worry about anything, right? He had the Most High, the King of all kings, representing him and standing with him. So he had no reason to doubt. He had no reason to fear. And that goes for us as well, right? We have him. We have the Ruach HaKodesh living on the inside of us. We have no reason to worry about anything when it comes to walking out an assignment, right? And when it comes to being obedient to what Yah has called us to do. But we keep questioning. We keep doubting. we keep procrastinating, right? And making excuses when we have everything that we need already in our hands. He has already given us the ability. He has already given us the blueprint, right? And he may not lay it out every step of the way from the jump, but he's going to make sure you have the next step that you need to take, as long as you continue to seek him, as long as you are tuning in and tapping into what he has for you. Another example in Exodus 4:10-12, Mosheh said to Yahuah, "Oh Yahuah, I am not a man of words, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant, for I am slow of speech and slow of tongue." And Yahuah said to him, "Who has made man's mouth? Or who makes dumb, or deaf, or seeing, or blind? Is it not I? Is it not I, Yahuah? And now go, and I shall be with your mouth and teach you what to say." Oh, that's powerful. He said that he was going to teach Mosheh what to say. So why don't we think that Yahuah will give us everything that we need when we go forth on assignment, when we're on these jobs and these workplaces? When we have something to go forth and do, there's no reason to stall. There's no reason to hesitate. We should be moving in haste when he says something, when he commands a thing to us. And we see here in this example with Mosheh that he literally laid out those instructions. And in Exodus 6:12, Mosheh said, "The children of Israel have not listened to me. And why would Pharaoh listen to me? For I am of uncircumcised lips." So he's like, if they're not even going to listen to me, why would the Pharaoh, someone in a high position, why would Pharaoh listen to me? Like, I'm nobody. And Exodus 6:30, and Mosheh said before Yahuah, "See, I am of uncircumcised lips, and why would Pharaoh listen to me?" So as we can see, Mosheh had all of the doubts. He had all of the questions for Yahuah. Does this sound familiar to you? Does this sound familiar? Can you relate to Mosheh, right? Having these doubts and these fears, these anxieties, but knowing Yahuah has called you to do a certain thing, yet you're still questioning it all. He had all the questions for Yahuah. And that's how we do, right? You sure you want me to go do this? You sure I'm the one equipped for this? Mosheh didn't feel like the man for the job, but Yahuah thought otherwise, right? And he thinks otherwise about you. No matter how much you're doubting, no matter how much you're worrying about doing a thing, he thinks otherwise. Just think about if Mosheh allowed his feelings, right, to get in the way of his obedience. What would have happened in that situation? Of course, he would have used somebody else, right, to do it. But just think about, like, if there was nobody else to do the thing, what would have happened to the children of Israel in that day if Mosheh let his feelings get in the way of his obedience? Just think about that. I just want you to remember that Yahuah has equipped you with everything that you need to fulfill the assignment that he laid out for you. All you have to do, right? All you have to do is walk out in obedience and do what he commanded you to do, just like Mosheh. And of course, on our own, these things may seem impossible for us to achieve, but with Yahuah, all things are possible. You got to remember that. I want to walk through a few ways to release imposter syndrome so that you don't have to let this continue to keep you stuck and stagnant from doing what you've been called to do. So the first thing, number one, is to challenge and dispel the lies of the enemy using Yahuah's word, right? His word reminds us of who we are and whose we are. He has not given us the spirit of fear. He has given us the strength that we need to endure. Everything that we need, we already have in our hands. He knew us before we were even in our mother's womb, right? So he already equipped us with what we need. We can use Yahuah's word, the sword of the Ruach, to fight back when the enemy tries to attack us mentally and keep us stuck from moving forth on an assignment. He wants us to fail and not fulfill the assignment that Yah has for us. So he's going to do everything. He's going to pull out every trick of the book, and we already know how he works, right? We already know how he operates, so we shouldn't be letting it stop us in our tracks. We can fight back. we can rebuke that thing. We can cast it down, bind it up. Whatever we bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, right? So we can challenge and dispel those lies from the enemy and send them right back where they came from. Also, number 2, we can do the work to rewrite the narrative, right? After we figure out what Yahuah says about us, right, by going to the word, how do you rewrite that narrative, that script that plays in your head? Use that word, right, to rewrite the narrative. Take a look at all that you've been able to do through Yahuah and use that to build up that confidence in the Most High, first and foremost, because it's also a trust thing, a faith thing, right? I realize that when I am not walking fully with Yahuah, when I've been slacking, when I've been letting distractions get in the way, I know that my faith is a little shaky during those times. So it's a faith thing, right? How can you build up your faith and your trust in the Most High, knowing that He has your back, knowing that He's going to give you everything that you need, and knowing that He's equipped you with these gifts and these talents? Why wouldn't you go forth and use them to help impact somebody else's life? And then start taking action, right? What is that thing that He's called you to do? Move on that thing today, right? Because when you start taking action, baby step after baby step after baby step, that breeds confidence, right? That builds trust in yourself, knowing that you can go forth and do the thing. So literally just start moving, just start taking action on whatever assignment it is. Last but not least, you got to stay focused on the kingdom. You got to stay focused on the assignment. The rest will fall into place because Yahuah goes before us, right? We have to keep that in the forefront of our minds. He goes before us. He knows every single intricate detail of our lives. So we got to have trust in that, right? He already knows how the story plays out. So all you got to do is take the leap, take that step, keep the assignment on the forefront of your brain, and just stay focused on it and stay focused on Him, most importantly. So I pray that this message was helpful. It is time for us to release that imposter syndrome, that baggage, so that we can go forth and do what we've been called to do and help the people that we've been called to help. It's a beautiful thing once you really relinquish control and stop procrastinating and get to work. I'll catch you all on the next one. Shalom.